Hi everyone! Today I'll be teaching you how to form words in calligraphy. This is the third video in my digital calligraphy on Krita series. It builds off the knowledge from the previous videos that I've posted, so make sure you check it out right here. This is going to be a really long video, so feel free to skip to your section of interest. As you can see, I have picked out several words to demonstrate today. Notice how all the words have different combinations of alphabets and lie on different areas of the guidelines. For example, the first word can is all between the baseline and the waistline, whereas the second word bad is between the baseline, the waistline, and the first ascender. Similar thing with the word jail, where it lies on the baseline, the waistline, the first ascender, and the first descender. You get the idea. Let's start with the first word can. So that's just C plus A plus N. Recall the basic strokes I taught in the last video and how every alphabet is just a combination of the basic strokes. Notice how when I write the letter C, there is a little flick in the end. This flick is similar to what you see here behind the letter A. Essentially, this flick is the entrance stroke of the letter A, which is normally how the alphabet is written. However, instead of writing it with the letter A itself, we add the flick to C and then continue on with A. It would look awkward if we didn't do so. Moving on to N, we sort of do the same thing here. We extend the flick of the letter a bit higher to be able to connect to N. Notice how I add a flick in the end of the letter N? You may be asking, hey, didn't you just say to add the flick for only connecting letters? Yes, that's true, but let me show you. If I were to just write the letter N like this, it wouldn't look nice. But the moment I add a flick in the end, the word looks nicer and more cohesive. Moving on to the word bad, so that's just B plus A plus D. Two things to note here. First, take note of how the ascending loop for B and D are of the same size. It is important that any repeated stroke looks as uniform as possible for cohesiveness. Second thing, take note of how when I write B, I extend the end of the letter outwards to be able to join the letter A, the same way I did for the word can above. If I didn't, it wouldn't look tidy, and the joining of B and A wouldn't look very good. Once again, I am emphasizing on how the ovals and the ascending loops should look uniform. Here is an example of what it would look like if we didn't pay attention to the shape and size of our strokes. Do you see how badly written this is? It doesn't look pretty at all. You must pay attention to these things when doing calligraphy. Our third word for today is jail. This one extends up to the first ascender and down to the first descender. Once again, because we have a descending and ascending loop here, we should pay attention to the shape and the size of the loops. There are many ways to write the letter J, but here you can see that I wrote a simple J first, stopping at the loop before continuing with the entrance stroke of the letter A. If you struggle in connecting the letter J to other letters in one go, this is a great way to practice. You know the deal by now. See how the letters are equally spaced out on the guidelines? The J is one space down and the L is one space up. Let me show you what happens when you don't pay attention to spacing. Here, I extend J all the way down to the second descender, while the L remains the same. It looks very awkwardly spaced. You might think, okay, what if the L was extended up to the second descender? Do you see how now the A and the I look too small and out of place? They are too small compared to J and L. We have to think about all the letters and the overall appearance of the word. The fourth word is quiz. By now, you probably get the concept. The only thing I would like to comment here is that the connection of Q and U. So just like J, there are several ways to write the letter Q. Here I connected Q and U in one go. You might think that the way I've connected these letters look out of place. However, if you don't connect them at all, there is this awkward empty space between the letters and it doesn't look nice. There are several ways to connect letters with each other, but this is my personal style of doing so. If I'm being completely honest, I struggle with connecting Z to other letters because it's a letter I seldom use. But this looks possible for now. We have two more words, so stay with me. This word is special because there is a repeat of alphabet, meaning you have to take extra care when writing such words. The O's should be of the same type. As I've said before, there are several styles of a letter. If you were to write O's in two different styles, it would look out of place. See how it doesn't look nice? One O is an open loop and the other one is a closed loop. But when I change it back to the same style, it looks so much better. Alright, last word. This word consists of letters that have loops and tend to be awkward to connect. Here, we have to pay attention to the connection between W and O and R, as well as the spacings between them. Just as before, we are going to extend the end of W out to seamlessly connect with the start of the O. Moving on to O and R. Notice how when the R is written individually, the entrance stroke starts from the baseline. However, when we connect O and R together, we eliminate the entrance stroke and directly connect the O with the loop of R. This can sometimes be tricky to do in one go. See how even though I've connected the O and R together, there is an awkward space in between? The loop is too low and there is a gap between the two. Now, when I redo it, it looks much better. Once again, there are several ways to connect letters. The ones I'm showing here aren't the only option. It takes a bit of playing around to grasp what works the best for you. Right, before I sign off, a little exercise for you guys. Can you figure out what is wrong with the way I've written this word? I'll give you a moment to think. There are several mistakes here. First, all the letter E's do not look the same. Second, the spacing between the letters is not at all equal. Some are much more further apart compared to others. Let me rewrite it to show you what it looks like if it's done correctly. See how the E's and the R's look much more uniform and the spacing is better now? It might not be much of a difference to the untrained eye, but it is really important to pay attention to these things so you build good calligraphy habits. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was very long, but I hope this gives you an idea on how to make words in calligraphy. Feel free to comment any suggestions or questions down below. Do like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye-bye.